Speaking of balance, there isn't much of it in the suburb of Dolton. And folks that have watched Fox 32 and Dane Placco's reporting on Mayor Tiffany Henyard know all about what's going on down there. She is under investigation by the FBI. Trustees there hired you to investigate Mayor Henyard and the town. Then she vetoed that. So is that the end of it?
No, my expectation is that relatively soon, maybe as early as Monday, June 3rd, there will be an override vote carried by a majority of the trustees. But we haven't been quiet. We've been continuing to do our work. I'll just say it's unlike anything I've ever seen. But the people of the village of Dalton deserve a government that actually works for them, that is transparent, that is fiscally responsible. I think that's what the majority of trustees really want. And clearly, every meeting is packed to the gills with people wanting to understand what's happened and, frankly, be able to articulate their concerns. They have a right to be concerned, and I'm hoping things will turn around.
So stay tuned. On Monday, they might vote to override, and that might be back on then.
Correct.
Hello everyone, this is Carlton Flowers of the Go Political channel, and I am glad to be back after a short 1-week break from all of the action in Dalton, Illinois. Today's video is a preview of the regular board meeting, which will take place tonight at 6:30 p.m. in Dalton, where I will be live streaming and providing commentary and feedback. In tonight's board meeting, we will likely see an override of the mayor's veto to the trustees' hiring of former mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate the Henyard administration's outrageous spending and alleged illegal activities. In my former videos, the argument rages on regarding the validity and the potential effectiveness of this decision on behalf of the Dalton trustees. And the jury is still out on whether or not Lori Lightfoot will be able to move the needle one way or another. We argued points about whether or not Lori has the authority to make a difference, and we also looked at the $400 per hour fees that the Lightfoot legal team will be charging the village. To be clear, let's be perfectly clear. This is not an endorsement of Lori Lightfoot or an endorsement of the former mayor's tenure where she presided over the city of Chicago. Only time will tell whether or not this move will, in fact, make a difference. But at the end of this video, I will present a new potential argument for those who say that this hiring is redundant since the FBI is already investigating the situation. All right, so let's begin by reviewing the facts. Let's get everybody up to speed and just review what has taken place to this point. First of all, the scope of the investigation. The board has tasked Lightfoot with investigating several matters related to Mayor Tiffany Henyard. A May 2023 trip to Las Vegas taken by Henyard and other village employees. Henyard's allegations of federal relief funds through the American Rescue Plan Act. The hiring of contractors and making payments to vendors without prior approval, and paying village prosecutor Michael Delgaldo over $900,000 over the past 2 years. Well, what about Lightfoot's role? Lightfoot brings expertise as a former federal prosecutor and aims to follow the facts without bias. Time will tell if that plays out. She will investigate allegations of misconduct, state and federal law violations, and internal matters. However, her authority is limited to providing information, as she cannot prosecute. So many have asked, what are the benefits, the potential benefits to the village of Dalton? 1. Lori Lightfoot's investigation can shed light on financial irregularities, unpaid bills, and questionable expenses. By uncovering facts, she can help the village address corruption and mismanagement. While she can't prosecute, her findings may guide further actions by other authorities of the community. In fact, it may make it impossible for certain people in power, such as the Attorney General of Illinois, to continue to turn a deaf ear to all of the evidence that has been presented. All right, so the veto override. Tonight's meeting will determine whether the trustees can override Mayor Henyard's veto. If the majority of the trustees vote in favor of Lightfoot's appointment, she will proceed with the investigation despite the video. How about prosecutorial authority? We talked about that. It's important to note that the role is to investigate, not to prosecute. And so while she cannot directly prosecute, her findings may guide further actions by other authorities of the community. And as I mentioned, it may make it impossible for the Office of the Attorney General to overlook all of the blatant evidence that has already been uncovered. But here's the million-dollar question that people keep asking. And this is part of the argument that has been going on in the comments of my 3 previous videos covering the Lori Lightfoot hiring. Is this redundant? That's the question. The FBI is already investigating, so what good is it to hire Lori Lightfoot, considering that the FBI is already on the case? So to date, the FBI has not brought any action other than the subpoenas to stop Mayor Henyard, and she continues to recklessly spend and violate people's First Amendment rights, both in the city of Dalton and Thornton Township. Now, in a video coming very soon, I will be covering the May 31st Thornton Township Board meeting. And there are several things that we need to uncover during that ridiculous meeting. It was a complete absurdity. It was a mess, something that we don't see a lot in local governments. You certainly would never see some of the things that took place in that board meeting here in my city, in the capital city of Missouri, Jefferson City. Okay, so here is one point that I would like to have you consider. For those of you that think that the hiring of Lori Lightfoot is redundant and unnecessary. Now, the world just watched a recent trial of the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Donald Trump went on trial for the hush money situation with Stormy Daniels. Now, that trial was brought to a close, and we had a conviction and a sentencing, which will happen within 2 months, roughly 2 months to the close of this trial. And we already have a sentencing coming up on July the 21st, where former President Donald Trump could be jailed or put on house arrest. Now, ask yourself this: how long has the FBI been investigating this situation? Has it been longer than the period of time that we see that the Donald Trump hush money trial has started and completed with a conviction? Think about that. Should the village of Dalton and the trustees sit and wait on the FBI, or should they take matters into their own hands? Ask yourself, what is the difference here between the amount of time that it took to complete the trial of Donald J. Trump and the time that it is taking right now with all of the evidence that has already been brought forward, while the mayor and her administration pile drives the village of Dalton into an $8 million debt, in addition to the damage to the Thornton Township, where we had a deficit only to hear from the mayor, the supervisor, the supermayor coming forward to say that she was responsible for bringing the Thornton Township into a budgetary surplus. We just saw the uncovering of a $5 million loan that happened this year, which was part of the reason for this announcement that the Thornton Township is in a surplus. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. With all of this evidence that we don't have any actions that have been taken by the FBI to put an end to the reckless spending. We have not seen any moves to support individuals who have lost their jobs, been locked out of their offices, and for those who have not seen any actions to protect their First Amendment rights. So maybe we can discuss this in the comments of the reasoning for the time that it is taking for this investigation to move forward and to come to a resolution for an action to be taken to put a stop to the madness. Maybe we can discuss that in the comments. Intelligent comments only. I don't want to hear any accusations, any trolling, and we're not going to discuss the fact that Lori Lightfoot did not have a great run as a mayor. We're not going to fuss and argue about whether or not we are endorsing this move from a prior politician who failed during her tenure. The discussion will be centered around whether or not the hiring can move the needle. One thing I also want you to consider is the enormous amount of information which must be collected, compiled, collated, and put into readable format where it can be presented before a judge as these subpoenas are going forward in a manner where a clear decision can be made. Now, while the FBI is on the case, do we have all of the information presented right now at this point where a decision can be made to put a stop to the spending? Or is there much work to be done to collect all of the receipts, all of the documents concerning the hiring of contractors where the regular request for proposal process was ignored? If you want to know more about that, watch my tree trimming videos where I uncovered the scam that was going on where these requests for bids were not being put out and direct contracts were being given without competitive bids in order to possibly launder money or provide opportunities for kickbacks. None of this has been proven, but you can watch my videos and make your own determination of what was really going on. So tonight, we should see fireworks. Why? Well, the mayor is under fire, but there has been a lot of drama going on. There have been many distractions to this point, where the focus has been taken off of the mayor. We have several people who are working to advocate for the village of Dalton. We have the FBI working. We have the trustees who are trying to gather information. We have the potential hiring of Lori Lightfoot, and we have an additional advocate who claims to be working in conjunction with the FBI. Is this effective? I don't know, but maybe we can discuss that. So tonight at 6:30 p.m., I will be going live and watching the entire board meeting where I will be providing commentary as the meeting goes on. Now, let me stop you right now before you enter my live stream and tell me, stop talking, we want to hear the meeting. I am providing commentary. And for those of you who want to participate, you're there to hear my opinion on what is going on, where I will help you to understand what we are listening to and provide live feedback. If you want to see the meeting with no commentary, go straight to the Dalton Trustees page where you can watch the meeting uninterrupted. But if you want to hear my insight and opinion, please join me tonight. Now, this is the time for you to subscribe and to click the notification bell, because I'm going to be coming at you with a flurry of videos in the coming weeks. I've had a nice little break, a little vacation. I was very busy with my businesses, and now I am going to double down and focus on the action at hand, and we will be getting into several other topics, including the Donald J. Trump hush money trial. So you will want to tick that bell so you don't miss any of the action. Like and subscribe right now. And if you would like to help support the channel, you may do so by subscribing as a member of the Go Political channel. You can buy me a cup of coffee using the Ko-Fi app, and you can also donate with the giving of a super thanks, and I thank you in advance. So tune in tonight at 6:30 p.m. We're going to watch the action and discuss it live as it unfolds, and it promises to be one heck of a show. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to all of my fantastic members for all of your support. And we will have another edition of the Dalton Chronicles coming your way, because there's so much gold waiting to be uncovered in all of the former Dalton board meetings that have taken place over the last 4 or 5 years. And you'll be shocked to see some of the hypocrisy of this administration as I uncover statements and actions that have taken place, and then we can compare and contrast that to what is going on today in the current moment. All right, folks, that's all I have for now. This is Carlton, and I am out.